Be strong.
What's up guys, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and in this video I want to talk about a entrepreneurial mindset, and that is focusing on strengths and forgetting all of the weaknesses. And so this is a big trap that I fell into when I first got started building businesses and trying to figure out this whole entrepreneurship thing. So I want to share in this video why it's so critical that you inventory your strengths and weaknesses and then promptly outsource all your weaknesses or just flat out ignore them, and then 100% focus on your strengths. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So number one I want to talk about here is why strengths are so important is when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. We all know about unique selling propositions. So if you're not quite sure what that is, a unique selling proposition is something that says, hey, you should do business with me because we do this better than everybody else. And when it comes to getting a job, presumably you're hired because you can do something better than everyone else. You're hired for your strengths. You're not hired for what you stink at, right? Just like customers come to you because of what you're really good at. They don't come to you because of what you stink at, right? And so when you focus 110% on what you're really good at, you begin to build up a strength or build up a skill or unique selling proposition that will propel you way higher than everybody else. So let's go ahead and use myself as a guinea pig, right? I am pretty good with decent with video. I am terrible when it comes to writing. My writing, grammar, I'm dyslexic. I just cannot stand writing for long periods of time. Doing these types of videos, I am much more adapt at, right? So as I say and ah a bunch of times. So for me to get my writing up to an adequate level, think of all of the time and energy that I would have to push to get myself to an adequate writing level, to essentially get myself to where normal people are. So let's say it'll take me 3 months to get to where normal people are. Now, as I move up that, I'm focusing a part of my brain and I'm pretty much going against what I'm really good at, and it's going to take me 2 or 3 months to get halfway decent, and I'd spend 2 or 3 months to get just as decent as everybody else. Now imagine I'm trying to compete with people who are really good at writing. That is a huge gap, and it's probably going to take me a few years to just gnaw and climb my way up to being around that level. As opposed to, imagine this is this kind of 10x thing, right? Imagine if I spent those 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 years focusing on improving my ability to communicate via video, something that I'm more personally adept at. Well, when you're more personally adept at something and you're focusing on a strength, number one, you have more energy because you're good at it. And then number two, your effort goes further because I'm starting up here as opposed to starting down here with writing. So that's kind of a silly example, but it gets the point across that when you focus on your strengths, you're going to be able to propel your essentially unique selling proposition as an individual or business much higher, much more quickly than if you tried to improve all of these weaknesses. All of us have something where we can get up here, right? It might not be what we want. You know, it's kind of like body types. Like some people, no matter how hard they try, they're never going to have a six-pack, right? Because biologically, they just have 4. Other people, you know, they get 8. They're lucky, right? And so this isn't a video to discourage you and just say, well, you stink at it, so just go do something else. No, it's saying, look for what you're really good at because you're hired for what you're good at. Customers pay you for what you're good at. People want to work with you as a business partner because of what you're good at. Nobody looks at your resume and says, tell me all the stuff you stink at, and that's how I'm going to decide if I'm going to hire you. No customer comes to you and says, you know what, I really like all the features you have on your page, but why don't you make a list of everything your software doesn't do, and then I'll decide if I fork over $10 or $20 a month. Like, that's just not how the world works. And yet we're all conditioned in school, right? Because in school we're all forced to focus on our weaknesses. Like the weakest subject we have, we spend the most time on, as opposed to our strongest subject, you should spend the most time on it because that way you can become better than everyone else. So I hope this video was valuable to you and kind of helped you differentiate between the importance of focusing on your strengths versus focusing on your weaknesses. Now, a good exercise to do to figure out what these two things are is, number one, you can simply say, what are some things that I can do that seem to come easy to me that are hard for others? Or others, if you've ever been sitting someplace and others go, man, you're so good at X, or man, you're so good at Y, or how is it you never work out and you always seem to be like in shape, or how is it that you can always just write a blog post in like 3 hours and it takes me 2 weeks, or something to that effect. And then on the opposite end, you can look at things, what do you dread doing, right? In your business or in your work, what is something that just seems to drain all your energy out? And what is something that seems to, as soon as you start it, you seem to get more energy doing it. For me, it's playing with Excel sheets. I get more energy playing with Excel sheets because I'm a bit of a nerd. When it comes to writing, well, all my energy disappears, right? I just cannot stand it. And so looking for those differences in how other people perceive you in terms of your skills, because feedback is important, constructive feedback, and then also thinking about how your energy changes based upon what you're working on. It can help you figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And of course, check out the channel for all of the videos on outsourcing, because that's how you handle all those weaknesses. You find when you're good here, you find someone else who's good over here, and now you have two arms up, way best in the world, as opposed to you were good at this and then you worked really hard to be mediocre at this, and now no one's really the best in the world at anything, and someone who worked really hard just kind of comes in and takes over, and because they have a better product, they have a better service, or they have better skills because they focused on what they were good at and propelled themselves to an elite level of experience and skill. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button and then subscribe for more business building and entrepreneur kind of mindsets and tactics and strategies over on my channel. I'm going from A to Z, everything in between, on putting together a digital business from scratch, everything internet marketing, all the way to videos like this on just kind of how to think and how to change your mindset as an entrepreneur. So until the next video, keep building the business you love. Take care.